going on, everybody? Shut up. What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since I've done an update, but that doesn't mean that work has stopped on the Yaris. There's been a bunch of little things going on, and I filmed like half of the process of doing all of those things. So here is like a grab bag of everything that's happened since the last time I updated you guys.
The first thing I want to do is change out some of the lines for the oil cooler. The lines that I wanted didn't arrive in time. So first we got to drain the oil, and it looks like that was due for a change. Next, we're pulling out this line because I needed too many couplers to make it work, and there's just too many points for this to leak. The run between these 2 points is really short, so without making a custom line, it took me a while to find something that would fit. And with that installed, it's on to the next task, a battery relocation.
So let me show you what I've done. As you can see, the battery is out. It was mounted very high on the driver's side of the engine bay. We've run some 0 gauge wire. You can see it back there, and it's run through where the heater core hoses used to be. We took that out in a previous episode. So that comes out inside the cabin down behind the accelerator pedal, and that cable for right now is run pretty loosely through the whole cabin just to make sure that I've got enough length, and is sitting right here for now. So with this configuration, I've tested it, I've fired the car, made sure that it gets power, making sure that the new battery has enough power to run the engine. And now I just gotta find the placement. I was thinking of putting it against this wall here, but I put so much stuff in the back of this car that I'm worried about accidentally hitting the battery and hitting the cables each time. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go against this wall right here. That seems like a safer spot that's more out of the way. Ultimately, if I am towing, I shouldn't really have that issue, but I'd like to stay safe and avoid damaging the battery or fraying wires if I can.
I'm gonna lift the suspension and pull the back wheel so that we can get into our wheel well, and also just so we don't puncture the tire with a drill.
So normal car batteries are really heavy. Even in a small car like this, we're talking like 30, 35 pounds. So as much as it's good to get that weight out of the front, I don't want to move all that weight to the back. So I've got this guy. This is a Braille battery that is 11 pounds. It has much lower cold cranking amps than the battery that we're taking out, but there's a lot less to run about this car now. There's no radio, there's no AC, there's a lot of the electronics that have been taken out. So I've got this tiny little aluminum bracket for it, which is super light, and we're just gonna mount that in the car. Cool, now I just need to do that with the battery in. So my voltage gauge is saying I'm getting 12.2 volts, which seems about right for the car being off, and it should be closer to 14 when the car's running. Okay, so here's my problem. The battery's all mounted up, it's very secure. I have an inline fuse here, and the problem is that this battery bracket is aluminum, and this topper right here is aluminum as well. It's very close to the terminal for the actual battery. Now, I can
put the terminal on like that and clamp it down, and it won't touch. But the problem is that this little post screws on, so if this loosens or this is not tight enough during driving and the whole thing rotates and it touches this this metal, then it shorts and creates sparks at the very least, creates a power drop at the very most, or no, creates a fire at the very most, creates a fire. I do have this little guy, which I was already using. This is a very much cheaper clamp. That's a little flimsy, and I wasn't gonna use it because of that, but it takes up a lot less space and like clamps on pretty clearly far away from everything. So I can do this pretty easily. The only problem is that this still does have the potential to spin around and touch this, just a lot less potential. It's not perfect. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to switch back to this one, secure it somehow off the side here, and honestly, I kind of wish that this whole bracket was like rubberized or something. You know, maybe this is designed for someone with more skill than I have. Yeah, I mean, this is designed to fit this battery perfectly, but the metal's so close to the posts that anything you do is likely to short this out. Okay, well, it works. It feels pretty janky though, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'm gonna run this as it is. Maybe if I was always towing the Yaris, but in the off chance that I'm not, I throw a bunch of stuff back here and those cables are gonna get bumped and nudged. And if they're this close to shorting, that's not great. And honestly, the suspension is stiff enough that they could short on track, and that would be awful. I don't love it. So if you were looking for a tutorial on how to do this, this video is not it. I think I'm gonna have someone else look at it and help me fix it. But for now, I'm gonna leave it here. We did a thing. It just might be more dangerous than the thing that we had before.
But at least that's not the only car we're modifying. As a backup to the Yaris, I'm getting my FRS ready to compete in the Enthusiast class of the TRD series. For this chassis to qualify for the Enthusiast class, the car has to be pretty much bone stock, which means I gotta take off all these mods. The intake, the headers, and the tune all need to go away, and I need to switch back to the OEM wheels. Headers are a pretty easy way to make power on this car, especially because they have a cat in there, so running catless headers can give you about 15 horsepower. They do require a tune to run, so I'm going to be switching back to the OEM tune. Because this is a boxer engine, the headers are a pretty funky shape, and it makes it a little bit hard to get them on and off. And with that finally out of the way, we can start on the intake. I picked up a TRD intake, which was a factory option, and it gives me another TRD badge under the hood, so win-win. It actually ended up being really lucky that I was swapping this out, because the old Mishimoto intake had a metal housing that was rubbing on the oil cooler lines and might have made me lose oil pressure on track, which would have been really bad. For now, I'm going to keep running my RPF ones for day-to-day driving and switch to the OEM wheels when I'm at the track. I just need to get some track tires for them.
So that's it for the FRS and the Yaris. They're both running a lot better. There's still a few things to do before they go to the track again. The next event of the TRD series is in May, round 3. I ended up skipping round 2 because it's Auto Club Speedway. The Yaris is no good there, and the FRS wasn't ready in time. But for round 3, we should be good to go because it is at Streets of Willow, and I've got an autocross day before then. So I'll give you those updates as they come. Catch you in the next one.